Today's video is a part one of a two-part series of the Panasonic G9, a $1,000 camera versus the Panasonic G7, a $600 camera. What are the differences, comparisons, features, which one's better, of course. Yeah, let's get into that. Just kick it off with the specs between the two cameras. The Panasonic G7 and G9 are both able to shoot 4K. Since these are both micro four thirds cameras, there is a 2x crop on any lens that you put on it. Now, here's the catch. With the G7 camera, you are actually getting a 2x crop factor every time you're shooting in 4K. For example, if you have a 25mm lens, it'll end up becoming a 50mm just because it's a micro four thirds camera. On the G7, if you have that same lens, that 25mm becomes a 50mm, and on 4K, it's a 100mm lens. The Panasonic G9 shoots 4K at 422 10-bit, while the G7 is shooting 4K 24 frames a second, 420 8-bit, so you're getting more color grading room when you're using the G9. Of course, this is what you get when it's more of an expensive camera. Now we're gonna go into an autofocus test between the two cameras, both at 4K and then at 1080. Here is a test going into the quality difference. Both these cameras are on the 4K mode. On 4K, this is just what it looks like at 100%, then 200%, and finally 300%. You can probably start telling the difference the more and more you push in on these cameras. Now let's talk about slow motion. The Panasonic G9 is able to shoot 4K at 60 frames a second, while the G7 is only able to 1080 at 60. And the G9 is also able to shoot up to 180 frames at a variable frame rates on 1080. Again, this is only part one of a part two video. In part two, I'm going to be definitely going over more physical features and doing more outworld tests. So if you do want to stick around and see that, to see more of the differences, hit subscribe. I'm trying to reach a goal of 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Really appreciate it if you did subscribe. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Which one's right for you? We'll find out next week. And until then, peace.